चले कहाँ तुम विनती करी तेरी, पाँव पड़े तोरे कितना मनाया फिर भी नहीं सुनी रे, छोड़ के कहाँ चले रे। घिरत रात अंधेरा डरावे, लोहित मोहे रुलावे, पंछी अकेला सुना है बसेरा, बाट तकत तोरे आवन की, छोड़ के कहाँ चले।
Kaziranga, Call of the Wild. The Kaziranga National Park is the only national park in the state of Assam, situated in central Assam with an area of 430 square kilometers. The landscape of Kaziranga is of sheer forests, tall elephant grass, rugged reeds, mellow marshes and shallow pools. Kaziranga has a history of its own, and this is how it all began. On 16th July 1902, when the Honorary Secretary, Zoological Garden, Calcutta, wrote a letter to Mr. J.C. Arbuthnot, the officiating commissioner of the Assam Valley District, requesting an adolescent rhino for its conservation campaign. Mr. Arbuthnot invited the attention to the dwindling number of the rhino to the Chief Commissioner of Assam, citing unchecked poaching as the reason. Inverted comma, yearly incursions of large shooting parties, close inverted comma. He further comments in his letter, there is, I think, still time to preserve the very few that are left. It is the home of the great Indian one-horned rhinoceros, Unicorns. Lady Curzon first heard about the rhinos of Kaziranga from her British tea planter friends and came to Assam in 1904 to 1905. Although she could not see the animal, she spotted hoof prints with 3 toes and believed that such an animal did exist. On her return, she persuaded Lord Curzon to do something to save this animal from total annihilation. Lord Curzon set the wheels of British bureaucracy rolling, and on June 1st, 1905, a preliminary notification announcing the intention of the government to declare 57,273.60 acres of Kaziranga as a reserved forest was issued. Finally, Kaziranga was declared as a preserved forest on January 3rd, 1908 and was officially closed for shooting and poaching. On January 28th, 1913, the area of reserved forest was expanded with an inclusion of another 13,506 acres. Kaziranga was declared a game sanctuary on November 10, 1916. In 1938, the then conservator of forest, A.J.W. Milroy, stopped all poaching and opened Kaziranga to visitors. Because the word game connoted animals for hunting, in 1950, the then senior conservator of forest, Mr. P.D. Stracy, changed the term to wildlife sanctuary. Gradually, the sanctuary began as a nucleus encompassing a small area, expanded to its present size. And finally, on February 11, 1974, the name was changed to Kaziranga National Park. And in December 1985, Kaziranga National Park was declared a World Heritage Site. The great one-horned rhinoceros, a large mammal found in Assam, India. It is confined to the tall grasslands and forests. in the foothills of the Himalayas. The Indian rhinoceros is an excellent swimmer. It can also run up to a speed of 55 kilometers per hour for short times. It has excellent hearing and smell, but poor eyesight. This prehistoric-looking rhinoceros has thick silver-brown skin, which creates huge folds all over its body. Its upper legs and shoulders are covered in wart-like bumps, and it has very little body hair. With equal size that of white rhino in Africa, it is the second largest land animal after the elephants. Fully grown males are larger than females in the wild, weighing from 4,400 to 6,600 pounds. The average height of the species is 6 feet and the average length is 11.7 feet. The record size specimen of this rhino was approximately 3,500 kgs. The one-horned rhinoceros has a single horn that is present in both males and females, but not on newborn young. The horn-like human hair is pure keratin and starts to show after about 1 year. It reaches a length of between 20 and 61 centimeters. There are speculations that the great Indian one-horned rhino, whose scientific name is Rhinoceros unicornus, was the inspiration behind the legends of the unicorn. According to legends, the unicorn could sweeten the murky waters of a pool by dipping his horn in it. It could also detect poisonous liquids with its horn. Those who drank from its horn received protection. It was also supposed to be the only animal that dared to attack elephants. These qualities attributed to the unicorn tallies with the alleged magical properties of the rhino horn, which perhaps gave rise to this speculation. Males can breed at 9 years of age, and females reach sexual maturity at 5 years and have their first calves when between 6 and 8 years. The female whistles when in season, so that the males know when she's ready to mate. The gestation period is about 16 months. A single calf is born at intervals of about 3 years. Mother rhinos are attentive and protective, the young staying with the mother for several years. Females and the young travel together, but males usually travel alone and are territorial. The lifespan of Indian rhino is usually up to 45 years. Assam and the Northeast are home to a major stock of Assam elephants, and this area being one traditional concentration of elephants. According to the latest data, Assam has over 5,200 wild elephants, and elephants have long remained inseparable from Assam's folklore, art, culture, music, and songs.
কি বন্ধুর বাড়িতে তাল গাছে ঢোলে হ্যাচকা টানে পিরিত খসে মাঘ মাসি শীতে
বন্ধুর বাড়িতে তাল গাছে ঢোলে হ্যাচকা টানে পিরিত খসে মাঘ মাসি শীতে
কি যারে বন্ধু যা জ্বলিয়া গেলেন মোহনের আগুন নিবিয়া গেলেন না
বন্ধু
এতই গোসা কি তোমার শরীরে
দেখতে দেখতে গাবর হলো রবিবারে দিন নায়ের গেল দেখতে দেখতে গাবর হলো রবিবারে দিন নায়ের গেল করার চেঙ্গিরাই করে হায় রে হায়
Kazi and Ranga. There is an interesting story about how the name Kaziranga came about. A young man, Kazi, from Karbi Anglong, fell in love with Ranga, a village belle from the Assam plains. The parents could not approve of their courtship, so they could only fleetingly meet in the forest. The forest became their favorite of all. One day, both of them suddenly disappeared, never to return, much to the anguish of their respective parents. The forest was thereafter named Kaziranga, in the memory of the young lovers. The rhino, no doubt, is the star attraction of Kaziranga. But the rhino apart, Kaziranga has yet another distinction. It is said to be the only place on this planet where you have one jungle having within it the tiger, the elephant, the buffalo, the wild boar, the deer, and various species of birds. The deer family again have 4 species in Kaziranga: the Sambar deer, the swamp deer, the hog deer, and the barking deer. This paradise on earth is filled with silence, peace, not wildlife, but a gentle life. It was a wonderful drive, and as we entered deeper into the forests, we were fascinated seeing wild boar walking and trudging along these grasslands, so happy to be in the open, knowing that this entire space was their home. We watched them run and play through these grasslands, moving towards the water's edge.
Kaziranga, Kaziranga, Mor Kaziranga khani anand. Kazirangar siro seuj poribesh, হস্তে ব্যাঘ্ররে বাস, এক খড়গড় গড় পৃথিবী এসায় পক্ষীর কোটি প্রকাশ। কাজিরঙা, 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 মোর কাজিরঙা খনি আনন্দ। কাজিরঙার চিরসেউজ পরিবেশ, হস্তে ব্যাঘ্ররে বাস, এক খড়গড় গড় পৃথিবী এসায় পক্ষীর কোটি প্রকাশ। কাজিরঙা, কাজিরঙা, Kaziranga, Kaziranga.
Kaziranga is one of the largest protected areas in India and one of the most significant conserved forest areas on the earth. It has become an exceptional model and conservation, also providing an ideal habitat for numerous other threatened species. Kaziranga is an outstanding example of the ongoing eco-biological processes in the evolution and development of the floodplain ecosystem and its plant and animal communities. It is the symbol for the dedicated commitment of the people who work ceaselessly to protect and preserve this richly diverse biological heritage. Kaziranga is justly earned its place as the flag bearer among all the wildlife conservation efforts across the globe. Into its 100th year of existence, the tradition continues. to Nagaon. Nagaon is an administrative district in the state of Assam in India. Nagaon presents a fascinating and bewildering mix of cultures, Hindu and Islamic.
ब्रह्ममुरारिसुरार्चितलिङ्गम् निर्मलभासितशोभितलिङ्गम् जन्मजदुःखविनाशकलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्.
Bhattadroa or Bordoa gave birth to the famous Vaishnavite reformer Shankardev, who brought about a renaissance in Assamese society. At the same time, the call of the Azan also blends equally well into the unique mosaic and cultural tapestry of Nagaon. Located in the very heartland of Assam, it falls directly at the center of the entire northeast of India. An old district which dates back to 1833. Shriman Shankardev was born into the Shiromani Borobhuyas family near Bordoa in Nagaon, in a village called Alipokhuri in 1449. At the tender age of 12, he wrote his first verse and is an example of his poetic genius. He left his school in his late teens and then moved from Alipokhuri to Bordoa and wrote his first work, Harish Chandra Upakhayan, and produced a dance drama called Sahana Yatra, for which he painted the Sapta Vaikuntha, 7 heavens, guiding the making of musical instruments and playing the instruments himself. At Bordoa, he constructed a Dharmghar or a Harighar, house of the Lord, in which he installed an image of Vishnu. The Satras, a good number of Satras that are considered religious, cultural institutions or monasteries that created a deep impact in the society's polity, economy of the region. Although the Satra institutions were established for the propagation of the Vaishnavite faith, but with the passage of time, these institutions gradually transformed into open universities to become all-embracing socio-cultural centers covering numerous subjects including education, music, dance, sculpture, drama, fine art, ivory works. His Vaishnavite faith was spread by the Guru's able disciples, Sri Madhav Dev, Sri Damodar Dev, and Sri Hari Dev. Shriman Shankar Dev produced a large body of work: poetic works, Kafya, Bhakti theory, transliteration of the Bhagavad and the Ramayana, drama, Nat, and songs, Borgeet Bhatima. He also composed Ankya Geet, Holy Geet, and Lok Geet, which were a popular form of folk music that expressed thoughts and emotions of the common people. And Shriman Shankar Dev popularized the Satriya Nritya among the common people. Another dance form that the Guru popularized was the Krishna Nritya. The Kali Daman Nritya, Dasa Avatar Nritya, Jhumur Nritya, Stali Nritya, Sutradhari Nritya, Gopi Nritya, Raj Nritya, Rani Nritya, were performed in the satras. Ojhapalli is a popular dance form among the people. Mahapurush Shankar Dev, not only being one of the greatest composers of devotional verse in Indian literature, was also a great social reformer. Sriman Shankar Dev established both the satras or monasteries and the village namghars or prayer halls. These two institutions soon emerged as the nerve centers of Assamese society, and Sriman Shankar Dev broke down the barriers of caste, creed and faith, uniting the people of Assam to chant the name of one God, Vishnu. In 1481, Mahapurush Shankar Dev handed over the Bhuiyaship to his uncles and set out on a pilgrimage of Bharatvarsha. He was then just 32 years of age. He travelled the whole of northern India, Jagannath Puri, Badrinath, Varanasi, Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan and Kurukshetra, and returned 12 years later as a highly accomplished scholar. He was known as the widely travelled and a very well-read person. And the end finally came to this great saint, philosopher, poet, artist, social reformer, to surrender his life to the Lord by way of meditative communion. And in 1568, the Mahapurush Sriman Shankar Dev passed away at the remarkable age of 120 years.
Pramana Nikhasarana Khonidana Ramana Majama Khamora Khaji Khamodale Koyoli Poyana Huno re huro Boiri Pramana Nikhasarana Khonidana